Hello, hello, you fabulous interior design professional. Welcome to Business of Design, episode 388. What? 388? That's impossible. How do you do it? Especially when so much of your time is spent managing deficiencies. Ugh, do you hate them as much as I do? Of course you do. Nobody likes deficiencies, least of all clients, but they're a pain in the proverbial butt. Actually, they're a pain in the real butt. Something goes wrong on a project. Of course, something always goes wrong on projects. It's a project. So you can rely on errors, omissions, upsets, screw ups, mix ups. Oh, don't let it throw you. It's going to happen. Deficiencies are part of the business of design. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how to psych yourself up. Psych yourself up. That was more clear, wasn't it? Psych yourself up so you can handle deficiencies like the boss, like the expert that I know you are. Episode 388, we're talking about deficiencies. Oh, doesn't that sound fun? First, though, let's check in with Cheryl Horn.
Well, registration is now open for High Point Market in the fall. So no more saving the date. It's time to book it into your calendar. And we actually have the whole weekend planned if you want to hang out with BOD. So of course, we're celebrating 20 years, and that's happening on October 26th. It all starts at 10 a.m. We have 3 seminars happening at 3 different showrooms in partnership with Daniel House Club. At 10 a.m., we're going to be talking about growing profitability with vendors, hosted by Four Hands. At 11 o'clock, ignore the budget and specify better products, hosted by Sunpan. And then at 12 o'clock, we're going to be talking about how design fees are not enough, hosted by Etu Home. Locations for all of these are on the website, so make sure you map it out and you join us for all of them. And then, of course, 3 p.m., we're celebrating 20 years with 2020 Vision. Be the expert. We've got a series of experts and partners and members joining us on stage, but we are going to share 20 musts for your business. This is going to be actionable advice that you can walk away with and implement immediately. And then stick around after that, where we are going to celebrate. You can hang out with Team BOD and our members, Daniel House Club, all in partnership with High Point and more. And then on Sunday, we've added another event in partnership with Zena and Daniel House Club. Kimberley is going to be hosting a panel discussion on financials and profits. Details are on the website. Please do RSVP for that one. Save your seat. You don't want to miss it. You can link through to registration from our website. So head to businessofdesign.com for both of these. Again, register for High Point Market. Registration is open as well. Let us know that you're coming to our events. We just want to see some familiar names on that list, and it's getting pretty full, which is really exciting. But again, it's no longer save the date. We want you to book this into your calendar. It will be here before you know it. Thanks so much.
Okay, so you tuned into the podcast today and you're thinking, gosh, I hope Kimberly has something fun to talk about. And she says, oh, yes, I do. We're going to talk about deficiencies. Woo! Doesn't that sound good? Oh, it does. Think about it. Deficiencies. They are a part of every single project, and you may as well be ready for them, right? So let's start at the beginning. What's a deficiency? Some people even call them a punch list item. Basically, something's gone wrong on the job. It might be an imperfection in a product rather. It could be that something is just not quite finished. It could be a scratch in a piece of furniture. It could be a dent on a refrigerator door. It might be a loose hinge. It could be a flaw in the finish of your new cabinets or a drip mark that the painter just didn't notice. It is impossible to predict what the deficiency or deficiencies, more accurately, will be on a project, but you can guarantee that there will be some. In fact, I would say you could guarantee that there will be many. Now, of course, during the project, you're going to do your best to stay on top of deficiencies, and I have learned from firsthand experience that the sooner I get on them, the sooner I make an attempt to get something corrected, the easier that deficiency is going to be to handle. Any delay in approaching the person who's got to solve this for you is going to make it more difficult to get the deficiency corrected. So it's got to happen quickly. Now, sometimes you might hear a client say, well, wait a minute, though. If you're a professional and you're the expert, shouldn't you be able to prevent deficiencies? And the answer is like, no, don't be ridiculous. Of course not. I don't make refrigerators. I don't make sofas. I don't make lamps. And I certainly don't, fly to Istanbul to package those things so they can be shipped to Vancouver before getting shipped to Atlanta, where I'm going to install them. It's difficult to prevent deficiencies because there are so many people involved in the tasks that are required to complete even the simplest element of the project. I mean, literally thousands of people are going to have a hand in your project, even a small one. Now, we can try to limit the number of deficiencies by enforcing certain guidelines among our trades, our suppliers, our vendors, our delivery companies, etc. But we're never, ever going to be able to prevent all of them. And often, because we're the interior design professionals, right, we're not on the job site. So we're not catching the deficiencies the minute they happen. Which would be great, but it doesn't always work that way. But they are going to happen, and you are not going to be able to control them all. And that's why it's really important, I think, to prepare clients for the inevitable appearance of deficiencies. When I'm reading clients my contract at the consultation, and I'm reading it, let's hear it out loud, line by line, and I get to the steps relating to deficiencies. That's right, not one step, but two. I like them so much, we've got two steps related to deficiencies. I will always at that point share stories from the field. Stories of things that have happened to me on projects, usually the last project I finish, because there's always one or two or three that I'm like, I can't quite get this done. The time that we had to wait a year and a half to get a new dishwasher because there was a big old dent in the front of the dishwasher that we waited a year and a half for to begin with, right? Remember COVID and those long delays? The time that we had to special order and have made a glass lampshade to go onto my client's lamp that she got in Hungary when she was a child because my painter had knocked it over inadvertently. That's not a common deficiency, but really, what is common? Scratches, scrapes, all of those things happen, too numerous to name them all, right? Most commonly, imperfections in furniture that's been delivered to us, whether the furniture originally came from overseas or a custom furniture maker, when the packaging comes off, sometimes those problems are revealed to us for the first time. I've come across so many broken glass pieces on light fixtures. We once had a project where we had to return the outdoor light fixtures 3 times because every time they arrived, some of the glass inserts were broken. I mean, it's just insane, right? So I will always give examples to clients of the most challenging deficiencies as I'm preparing them for the fact that it's going to happen on their job site and we're going to handle it, but it's going to be frustrating for us and for them. And we're going to need their patience as we work it out. Now, I've learned that there are ways that I can minimize the inconvenience to my clients when there's a deficiency. So, for example, if we discover during the installation process that a table has a bad scratch on it, I will immediately, in fact, you know what? This happened like last week. We have a coffee table that's made of marble, and the corner of the coffee table is a big old chip in it. So the movers put it into place. We go, oh, wow, that's a huge chip. Take a picture. Emailed the supplier on the spot from the installation, from step 10, as we're filling the house with furniture. Email the supplier. She says, let me check if we have stock. We don't have stock. You guys can use that one until we get a new one because it's chipped. It's going to go into their sale bin anyway, right? But the important thing is when the clients walked through the door and we did the big reveal, we didn't say, sorry, there's no coffee table here. What we said is, here's your coffee table. It looks beautiful, right? Yes, it does. And then we said, sorry, if you look over here in this corner, there's a chip that we noticed. We've already been in touch with the supplier and we're going to get you a replacement. In the meantime, you can use this one. So that's what I mean by an example of how you can minimize inconvenience to your clients. Request a loan item or borrow them, or for goodness sakes, take an end table out of your house so they have something to put their coffee on if you've just completed their, the family room where they're planning on reading every single day. Oftentimes, the deficiencies are the result of work performed by one of your tradespeople. But these issues tend to be oversights, and hopefully most of the time they're easily corrected. Not always, right? Sometimes it's really challenging. We just did, oh gosh, do I even want to tell you this? Can I tell you this? Is there nothing I won't share with you? We just finished a project where we put a new fireplace into the basement, and neither the fireplace company nor the contractor nor us noticed in the specification sheet that we also needed this, I don't know, cooling unit that had to be attached and ordered separately. Now, the fireplace company absolutely should have told us that we needed this, but they didn't. The contractor didn't notice, and we didn't notice. And so once we installed the fireplace, it was hot. And I mean hot to the touch. And that just wasn't going to be okay. Can't like have your guests leaning up against the fireplace and searing themselves. So we had to take the face of the fireplace off. We had to dig into the insides. We had to reinstall this item. And that cost everybody a little bit of money and a little bit of time. And it was frustrating, right? But what I've learned, a couple of things. The faster you do it, the better it goes. Because if you let trades go off to the next project, it's going to be much harder to get them back to complete things. But I've also learned that how I handle those deficiencies can make or break my relationships with my clients. And, you can have 80% of the project go amazingly well, and there are these 20% of deficiencies or even 5% of deficiencies. And if you don't handle those well, you could find yourself without that repeat and referral business that you might really be hoping you have one day. Now, after a word from our sponsor, a very quick word from our sponsor, I'm going to talk about some solutions for managing deficiencies. So hang in there. Hey designers, just popping in to remind you of the wonders of Daniel House Club. DHC simplifies your design business, offering everything you need in one place. No more wasting time managing orders. They've got that covered, so you can concentrate on creating beautiful spaces. Plus, they offer some of the best trade pricing on top brands like Four Hands, Curry & Co., and Hudson Valley Lighting with flat rate shipping. To join, visit danielhouse.club and use the promo code BOD2024, all caps, for 50% off your first year of their Pro Plus membership. And for you longtime members of DHC, they want to reward you for your loyalty. Use the code HighPoint2024 at checkout to receive 10% off the value of your next order. DHC is also super excited to celebrate BOD's 20th anniversary with us this fall at High Point Market. They will be sponsoring our seminar series on Saturday, October 26th, in partnership with some of their top vendor showrooms, including Four Hands, where mimosas will be on tap. Join Daniel House Club now and experience how easy managing your design business can be. So, how do you handle deficiencies? Well, some days is easier than others, right? But most importantly, well, I believe that it's my job to catch them ideally before the client does. So I let clients know the minute I'm aware that there's a deficiency. I let them know that not only am I aware that there's a deficiency, but we're already working toward a solution. And what that does for the client, it just assures them that this is something they don't have to manage. I just had some beautiful landscaping put in, and I was very clear on what I wanted in the landscaping, only white flowers. I said, purple's my least favorite color. I don't want purple anywhere near me. I'm allergic to it. and I want all white flowers and just super super clear on the project, as you can imagine an interior designer would be. So it's our first year in the summertime and we're looking out at my garden and there's purple, lots of purple, and there are pink roses everywhere. Oh, that was the other thing. Roses don't work here. So pink roses and lots of purple. And I had to get in touch with the landscaper, and everybody's kind of saying, oh, well, not my fault. Oh, they must have labeled them wrong at the nursery. There's really not a lot I can do. So I'm going to stay on top of this and hopefully I'm going to get this resolved. But the truth of the matter is, none of those people's ever getting a referral from me if that's how they handle deficiencies, which, as far as I'm concerned, are their fault, but now my problem. So that's what I mean. You can, do great work and end your project with clients loving you. And there's just this, one or two deficiencies nagging, hanging over the project. And eventually anyone's patience runs thin. So it's really important to stay on top of them. Try to catch them before the client does. Don't try to hide them. I have been with designers who say, like, oh, if there's a scratch on the back of something, they just turn it around to face the wall. Are you kidding? I do not want the clients to come home and find that I've turned it around to face the wall. However, that said, if it's something where the clients really may never move it and there's a bit of a scratch or damage, I will still point it out to the client and I will say, here are the options. We get you a replacement, or I ask the supplier to give us a deeper discount on the item because it's damaged. And almost always my suppliers will give a deeper discount on the item and the client is thrilled. So they get another 20% off. There's a scratch on the back of the lamp, but that's okay. They're never going to turn it around because the back is where the cord is anyway. And again, it's just all about managing my clients' expectations and making sure that they know I'm on top of it. Deficiencies are not preventable. They are not avoidable. Most of the time, they're not your fault. If they are your fault, if you made a mistake, oh, I can give you an example of making a mistake. I got one a week, I think. So I did something I usually do, and I sourced an area carpet online from a wonderful supplier. I normally go there to see things in person, but I was busy and rushing. So I just picked the carpets online. I thought that'll be great. And in this particular case, we needed to have the carpets cut to a particular size because the clients moved into a 600 square foot condo, very tiny. So we took a 4x6 and we cut it into two carpets that were 2x6 for the two little tiny bathrooms. Perfect. Sounds great. What could go wrong? Well, what could go wrong? The carpets were super thick, like an inch and a half tall. And that meant that we had to take the doors off at the condo and plane them, which is easy, except that these are hollow core doors. The clients are using this unit as a rental unit. So all the way around, right? It's just a big cluster, you know what, and who's responsible? Me, because I didn't notice how thick the carpets were. So in this case, I said to the client, we can attempt to plane the doors and we'll pay for that because it's my fault that I didn't verify the thickness of the carpet. Or we can take those carpets back into inventory. And so we decided we're going to take the carpets back into the inventory. The client was so happy. I didn't make the problem her problem. And I told you I'm helping my son decorate his home. I think I told you that a few episodes ago. He's going to get a couple of nice carpets for the holidays, if you know what I mean. So there's always a solution. Sometimes it's your fault. And when it is, you own it. And when it's not, you don't. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, please tell me you did. You know that we have thousands of these moments, these solutions waiting for you as part of your Business of Design membership. Don't miss out. If you're a member of Business of Design, you're going to find out how I bill clients for the time it takes to correct deficiencies and why. Even if the client feels like that's not fair, it's not her fault. There is going to be a cost to how we do things. I'm going to talk about our deficiency tracking form, how you can make sure clients are up to date on where deficiencies are at, and so much more. But you're missing that if you're just listening to the podcast. And I'll be honest with you, at Business of Design, we need your support. We want your support. We have important work to do, and your membership is the only way that we're able to do that important work. So come on out, be a member, get to know this community. These are the best designers you will ever meet, and they're profitable, and that matters. And when you're a member, you can show up to BOD Live and you can ask your own questions from your own projects, and you can get insights and advice and direction on how to handle whatever is happening on your projects today. I know it's hard work. Believe me, I do. And we can be there for each other. You're going to be so glad you joined us. Come on. What are you waiting for? Thanks so much for being here. It's always great to spend time with you.